I understand shoving the flag a little bit further down in your pocket in certain situations because you don't want to necessarily be the story if you're an official. But that one right there, that's egregious pass interference. He is there early. It is clear and obvious, as we use that term a lot, right? Pass interference. And so I think at that point, you can not only call that, but you can justify calling that. And I think that sometimes is like, oh, well, can I really justify calling this in this situation for this particular play as opposed to just letting them settle it? Like, yeah, you really can.
Pass interference is a judgment call. To the officials, it didn't rise to what they felt was a restriction, thus they didn't call it. That's basically the bottom line there. It's a judgment call, and they didn't believe it was pass interference. Well, that's good to know. It's good to know that they actually, weren't cheating, that they actually believed they didn't see pass interference. The question is, why? And it's not subject to replay review. Like, you're down there in the middle of all of it. I don't know. I'm all for transparency, and there isn't nearly enough of it when it comes to officials. This isn't... See, the pool report is worthless here. The pool report, I don't know that it provides some sense of closure or anything. No, the problem still exists. It was a bad call. They can say whatever they want. They can run themselves in circles. They can chase their tails all they want. It doesn't matter. It was a bad call. And wouldn't you like, I go back to the days of either Mike Pereira or Dean Blandino, when they would go on NFL Network on Wednesday night, and they would explain and address the calls, not just the good ones. And it wasn't just the old TASS, the old Soviet news agency, the house media like NFL Network is. It wasn't that. It was the truth. They would be transparent. They would admit the mistakes. And then the officials get upset that they're getting called out. Well, tough shit. Don't make mistakes and you won't get called out. What a great incentive that would be. If nothing else works, you're going to get called out on NFL Network on Wednesday night when you don't call pass interference, when the guy's arms are draped over his shoulders and he's pulling him backward. So that's what's missing here. And that's the reason why this is upsetting to me, Miles, and then I'll shut up and let you chime in. That's the stuff that makes people say it's rigged. Yesterday after the Patriots game, NFL rigged was trending. Last night, Commanders fans, they don't want the Commanders in the playoffs. They don't want Dan Snyder in the playoffs. Hey, I'm at the front line of dealing with these people. And I try to tell them that's not the case. It's just incompetence. It's not, there's no grand conspiracy against you. It's just the referees aren't very good sometimes.
Is the NFL rigged? That's a question that football fans have been asking for quite some time. But the quick answer is I don't personally believe that the NFL is a rigged game. Notice I said game. I do, however, believe that the NFL grossly mismanages everything at the game level. And that incompetence can't be hidden anymore. However, I believe the rigged question goes much, much deeper. Look at it this way. If you had a problem that was affecting your life, most likely you'd get it fixed. Your car starts smoking and clanking, you take it to the garage and you ask them to fix it. You fall, hurt your arm, maybe break your arm, you go to the doctor and you say, "Can you fix my arm?" Pipe breaks in your home and starts spilling sewage all over the place, and you're going to call a plumber and say, "Come get this fixed." You see, you react to a problem because it negatively affects your life. In the case of the NFL, things are much different. In fact, they're indifferent. Do you know what indifference really means? Here's a quick example. I had a friend that was going through a divorce. He and his wife were constantly fighting over everything, trying to destroy each other. They both went to lawyers and did all the legal stuff until one day my friend's lawyer told him at a meeting, "Just stop. You're wasting your money." He didn't really want a divorce. You see, if you hate someone, it indicates you still care, you still have passion. And that's when he told him, the opposite of love isn't hate. The opposite of love is indifference. When you don't care what the other person is doing, then you become completely indifferent. What they do in their life doesn't matter to you. Right now, you're still in a divorce situation with the NFL because you hate them. You're having a passionate affair. You still have feelings for the NFL. You haven't become indifferent. The indifference that I speak of is why the NFL seems to be running in insane fashion. They are wholly indifferent. They could care less. They know, they absolutely know that no matter what happens on the field, every sports bar is going to be filled on Sunday, every stadium has ticket sales, and everybody else is going to be watching on TV. Unlike going to a bad restaurant, fans of the NFL keep coming back for more and more of the same. They're completely engaged. They're not going away. Even if the product sucks on the field, even if there's horrible officiating, even if the team sucks, the fans keep watching. And then fans jump on Twitter and here on YouTube and complain and whine about what happened each Sunday. But they keep watching. And because of that undying engagement, advertisers pay dearly. NFL television rights exceed $100 billion. That renders merchandise, parking, concessions as just gravy train money. And that $100 billion is baked in before they even play a down of football. So if the NFL knows for a fact that your feelings don't matter and that they're still going to be cashing checks to the amount of $100 billion, why do they care? Why would they care? Well, the fact of the matter is they don't. You are the product. You keep watching. You keep complaining on Twitter and YouTube. You keep with your undying passion for your favorite team. And the NFL knows this. They know it to the tune of $100 billion. So Tyreek was held and it should have been interference. Think it matters? So Jalen Phillips was flagged for roughing the passer for landing on a quarterback. So shut up. Keep complaining. Just keep watching every Sunday. And by the way, leave us alone. We're over here just counting money. Want to hear the real kicker? The actual team owners don't seem to care that much either. They also know that they're getting a big chunk of that $100 billion. Their job is just to keep running, make you keep coming to the stadium, make you keep watching, and you get that piece of the pie, that $100 billion pie. As long as you keep watching, they don't care. They get paid. You don't even have to go to the stadium. For instance, you want to know how this just affects everything? I have a small YouTube channel here, relatively small. And I can't tell you how many times I have companies and brands reaching out to give me money just to be a part of my broadcasts. Next season, one or two of them may be paying for an entire new studio for me. And they don't care if the Dolphins make the playoffs or not. Just keep generating views. That's what they want, eyeballs. As George Carlin famously said, it's a big club and we ain't in it. Is the NFL rigging games? Of course not. You'd have to care about the outcome to actually rig a game. They are completely indifferent. And as fans, we did that to ourselves. The NFL has survived wars. The NFL has survived strikes. The NFL has survived Colin Kaepernick. The NFL has survived the concussion uproar. The NFL has survived the joke of racism and social justice. The NFL has survived the friggin' pandemic. And all of us are still watching, despite the horrible calls, the lack of tackling, the unprofessionalism from many players, the scandals. It doesn't matter. We keep watching because we're the ones that care. We hate the losses. We hate seeing our team lose. The NFL, hey, we're getting paid $100 billion, win or lose. What would you do? The NFL survives because they're just the opposite of a fan. They don't care. Because of the growth of advertising, the amount of companies that need these eyeballs, $100 billion buys you indifference. $100 billion buys you a lot of comfort. Just play the games. We don't really care what happens. So I guess the NFL is rigged, just not the way that you think. Enjoy next week's games, fellow peasants. Have fun. Fins up. Let me know what you guys think about the rigging of the NFL.
Is anybody catching on to this Barry guy?